and good morning. Welcome to the Going Executive Director Show. My name is Brandy and this is Jeff. The purpose of this show is to give you the skills, techniques, inspiration, motivation, and daily activities needed for you to build a solid, profitable business. Now, over the past week, we've been going over this book by John Maxwell, The 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader. And today we are on quality number 6. And I got notes here just so I could keep myself on track. So if I'm looking down, that's why. Good morning, Max. So, courage. One person with courage is a majority. It's easy to see a war hero, but it's also present in everyday leaders in business. So whenever you see progress in an organization, you know that a leader has made some courageous decisions to go out there and do what needs to be done for the sake of his team. And the leadership position doesn't give you courage, but courage will give you the leadership position because not many people are willing to go outside of their comfort zone like we were talking about yesterday to be able to do what's best for the team. So with that, I'm actually going to have Jeff take over the lesson for today. He's a certified coach with John C. Maxwell, and I will have you take it over.
Awesome. So guys, just wanted to say hello to everybody. Johnette jumped on here. Max, what's going on? Chris, how are you? How are you recovering? Brad Davis is here. What's going on? David Peters. And we're going to go ahead and get rolling here. So courage, the courage to step out. First of all, courage begins with an inward battle. The inward battle. So let's relate this to, network marketing, direct sales, basically changing professions, changing careers. You have to have the courage to step out. And it's really an internal battle that you start having with yourself of how many people am I going to let know that this is going on? By the way, for those of you who don't know, it is Brandy's birthday. And we're going to go out and celebrate the rest of the day. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We have some things planned, and then there's also some things planned for the weekend. So that's going to be good. Inga's here. Hello. How are you? So the courage to kind of start over again. Many people have to start over again. Many people are starting for the first time inside of direct sales, inside of network marketing. And when you change direction and you introduce yourself to everyone as a new person involved in a new company, representing a new company, representing a new product, it really takes, some inward battle of, having that conversation with yourself and having that conversation with how you want to represent yourself, who you want to be, how you're represented to your friends, family, neighbors, relatives, how you're represented to, the acquaintances that you have. It's a trick, to say the least. And it says, every test you face as a leader begins inside of you. The test of courage is no different. Psychotherapist Sheldon Kopp notes, all the significant battles are waged within. So this is something that comes on within when you decide to change direction, you decide to go tell everybody else, how do you want to be represented? Some people come on real strong. Some people, I'll let a couple people know. Direct sales is really difficult when you're only wanting to let a couple people know. You're trying to do it incognito. You don't want anybody to know. And most of the time, what this comes down to is it's a self-esteem issue. It really is a self-esteem issue. You're like, I've built myself up in front of everybody else's eyes for so long as this person, and all of a sudden I have to introduce myself as I decided to do something else. And the internal battle is what will people think? The reality is most people are not thinking about you. Most people have self-esteem issues too, and they're thinking about themselves. Now, it doesn't mean that people don't talk about people. Typically, the people we're most worried about aren't our friends to begin with. I mean, that's the reality. Most of the people we worry about aren't really our true friends anyway. They're acquaintances and or colleagues that they'll talk about you regardless of what you do. If you wear a certain shirt they don't like, they're going to talk about it. If you drive a certain car they don't like, they're going to talk about you. If you wear your hair a certain way, they're going to talk about it. That's just what they do. Talkers talk. So you just have to kind of make a decision to move forward and move on. 2, courage is making the right things right, or making things right, not just smoothing things over. So many people smooth stuff over rather than speaking up. Now, I listened to a particular gentleman. He's known as the $50 billion man. I'm not going to mention his name because everybody go look him up. And his language is atrocious, would be the right way to say it. I mean, he makes Gary Vaynerchuk look, like Disney World. But some of the things he says are absolutely true. And he says, sometimes we want to smooth things over. Sometimes we say nothing. And sometimes saying nothing is acknowledgement that you agree, where a lot of times you don't. He's like, it's okay to speak up and speak your mind. This is just the way I am. I'm not there to hurt anybody. I'm not there to discredit anybody. I'm just speaking up how I see things. It says courage deals with the principle, not the perception. If you don't have the ability to see when you stand up and conviction to do it, you'll never be an effective leader. So you kind of have to stand up in the face of things and be like, look, this is how it needs to be done. I have, no problem standing up in front of anybody, including, some of the top leaders, which I've done, and saying, hey, look, this is just how I do stuff. I see this is the most effective way because I see the way that most people are building their business where they're just sending crap to people, and you're teaching them to chase them. You're teaching them to drip on people. It's a horrible marketing technique. People are not having success. People are basically, you're keeping them in just long enough to find the next person, to keep them in long enough to find the next person. That's not really helping them. That's not building a successful sales force. It's just you have so many people now, you don't give a shit. And yes, I've said that to people. They don't like it, but several of them later have said, yeah, I kind of, there are points that I agree. Basically, they can't say no because they're selling usually a system of some kind to people that's, making them money. So they're obviously not going to go against their income. 3, it says courage in a leader inspires commitment with its followers. So when you go out and you build big and you build fast, so that's the whole reason of building big and fast. When you go out and build big and build fast, and you go out and talk to people that you're uncomfortable with, what it does is it inspires other people. That's why the testimonials are so important. That's why the stories are so important. That's why Brandy and I have made a commitment that now when we're going out and contacting, now when we're going out and inviting, now when we're going out and setting appointments, we're letting everybody know, hey, this is another person. Hey, this is another person. Hey, this is another person. The presentations are important. People, have the courage to go out and talk with people they don't know, people they do know, people they're friends with, people they've never contacted, never talked to. That to me is more courage than sitting at work hiding in a cubicle where nobody can find you. That's more work than closing the door of the office that you work in and putting your head down and just not associating with anybody because you're scared to death to go actually let people know what you do. The reality is most people aren't thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves anyway. Most people have self-esteem issues to begin with. If you don't think that, just hang out around me for a little while and I'll sit there and ask people questions and you can see it come out. You can see their excuses come out. You can see the delivery. 4, it says your life expands in proportion to your courage. So courage has a lot to do with, this is where you get outside your comfort zone. I mean, if you really want to know what courage is stepping outside of your comfort zone. And the majority of people do not step outside of the comfort zone because their basic human instinct wants to keep you inside your comfort zone. Your basic human instinct is built internally to keep every person inside that little itty bitty circle that you live in. It's built to keep you inside of the realm of what you grew up in. Like, most people don't venture far outside of where their parents took them. The reason being is that's an unknown and that's scary. Benny, what's happening? So what I learned from David Bird is not only is our basic human instinct built in negativity, built in fear, built in wanting to keep you where you're at, not only is it built like that, it's built not only to keep you there, it's built to scare you into staying there. That's what your basic human instinct is trying to do. So it's actually working against you, not actually helping you, not moving you forward. So the only way to break outside of that is to A, make a decision to do it, and B, track it. You have to track what you're doing. You have to track that you're going outside of your comfort zone on a regular basis. That's why every single month for a decade or more, I've actually carried a notebook with me and I physically write down the people that I'm talking to so I can look back at the end of the month and say, hey, am I using fear again? the fear to stay in my little circle, or am I branching out talking to new people? So that's one of the things I track. I track who I've talked to in my phone, and the who I've talked to in my phone really tells me, is the majority of the people that I'm calling the same people that I've always called? Am I talking to the same people I've always talked to? Or am I having conversations with new people that I don't know? Am I building relationships with new people I don't know? Don't know meaning, in the last 90 days, in the last 30 days. Most of you are talking to the exact same people you talked to a decade ago, and you're wondering why you're not succeeding. It's because 80%, again, 80-20, the Pareto principle, 80% of the people you need to be talking to are the people that you're not usually talking to or have never met yet. If you tracked it, if you physically tracked it, you'd succeed so fast, and this would be so easy you wouldn't even know what to do with yourself. So your life expands in proportion to your courage. The reason being is just outside of your comfort zone is where all of success lies. Just outside a lot of people think they've got to go really far. Michael's with us. What's happening, sir? A lot of people think they have to go really far to succeed. You don't have to go really far. You just have to go outside of your comfort zone. And the only way to get outside of your comfort zone is to track it. If you did 15 presentations this month, you need to do 16 next month. That way you know you're growing. But you can also do 15 presentations with new people that you've never met before. You can do leads. You can talk to friends of friends. I have a couple people, and they've refused to go contact certain people. So I just found a way around this. I found a way to get and talk with their friends, talk with the people that they have conversations with regularly, and they don't even know I'm going to do it. And they don't even know how I'm going to do it. I figured this out yesterday, and I was like, oh, wow. Imagine when I bring on 3 or 4 of their friends that they are scared to death to go talk to, and I've already found a way to contact them, and I don't need them to go do it. It's going to be a cool trick. I will share that with you another time, because I know there's certain people on here who are scared to death that's actually going to happen. But when I start bringing on people that you were scared to death to talk to, you'll thank me later, because the money will come into your account, not mine. Actually, it'll come into both of our accounts, so that'll be good. Bring it at home. It says to improve your courage, do the following. Number 1, face the music, face whatever you have to go do. Hit it head on. A lot of people avoid. They'll try to do other things. They'll walk around in circles. They'll, kind of hide behind different things. They're like, well, I'm busy. That's usually the excuse. I'm busy. I started a new project. I started another project. I decided to go back to school. I decided to do this. I decided to do that. But they just won't face the music. They just don't go head on. Number 2, it says talk to the person you're scared to talk to. Talk to the person you're scared to talk to. Anytime you do have fear, anytime you do have some kind of fear, especially inside of direct sales or network marketing, especially if you're trying to build your Legal Shield business, talk to the person you're scared to talk to. Hit it head on. You can say, look, a good friend of mine. Here's the thing. That's why I built the system I did, is because it doesn't have to be you. Hey, I need a quick favor. I told my friend that I'd help them, expand what they're doing. And they're just trying to get the word out, tell people about what what they're working on. Can you do me a huge favor? I want to tell you exactly what they're working on. So if you happen to run across the right person, you could refer, over. I told them I'd help them out. That way you kind of are saving face, because it's really your friend that you're helping. And what it does is it overcomes fear, because it allows you to get in front of people you never get in front of, because it's not you. Lori's with us. Hello. Talking about courage. So next, take a giant step. It says maybe you've been afraid to make the career move. Maybe you've been afraid to step out and tell people, hey, I'm in direct sales. Maybe you've been afraid to come out and say, hey guys, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm doing it. Maybe it's time you do that. A lot of people are scared with Facebook Live. Oh my gosh, what will people think? And I went through this. I don't know what it was. It was like, well, what if people see the background? What if people see the books? What if people see this? What if people see that? What if I'm not wearing the right shirt? What if my hair's not cut right? All these really weird what ifs. And what I realized was that same self-conscious that I was worried about, or that other people worried about talking to people, I was having it when I was going to go on Facebook Live. Eventually, I watched actually a presentation by Ray Higdon. Ray Higdon talked about the 3-minute expert. And the 3-minute expert, the idea is there's 4 things to kind of doing a Facebook Live. So this is kind of a cool training if you want to do Facebook Lives and you're scared to death to do them. I didn't have a format. I just didn't want to be lost. I was like, well, who exactly am I directing this to? Who am I talking to? And here's who you're talking to. You're talking to everybody. So think of it this way. Every single person that would click on, you're asking for a favor. Hey, do me a favor. Here's what I'm doing. Here's who I am. So the first thing is an introduction. You always introduce yourself the same way. So what we did is we wrote an introduction to the Going Executive Director Show. We wrote an introduction to the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. We wrote an introduction to our class online, the MLM Millionaire Club. We wrote an introduction to Leadership University. So you write an introduction first. That's who you are and where you're coming from. You know, hey, this is Jeff Gamble from Indianapolis. This is Brandy Pember from Indianapolis. This show is the Executive Director Show. The reason we put it together is to give out this. So that's kind of our introduction. We say the same thing every single time. That gives a format. So my thing is I just wanted to look, I just wanted it to look professional and not be like one other random show where people just, I've watched people get on and they just ramble. And that was a problem to me. I was like, I don't want to just ramble. I want to teach something, and I want to teach something specific. The second thing is you either ask a question or announce what you're talking about. You ask a question or announce what you're talking about. And here's the thing. You have to announce or talk about things that people are actually interested in. That's the simple thing. Several times I've gotten into conversations about what we're going to talk about. I know for a fact that the John C. Maxwell stuff, people are attracted to. Why? Because as soon as we started doing it, especially when we started doing it on the Lunchtime Leadership Show, as soon as we started doing it, there were all kinds of people that jumped on. It wasn't just, people who are in our business. It wasn't just people that were associated with direct sales. It was all kinds of people were jumping on, learning about it. So number one is an introduction. Number two is asking a question or covering the topic you're going to go over. Number three is filling in the blank of what you're going to talk about. So those are the points. Those are the subject matter. Usually 3 to 5 points. If you're going to do it in 3 minutes, it's 3 to 5 points about whatever you're going to talk about. And then the last part, the fourth step, is the conclusion, the call to action. C2A. I was going to say CYA, cover your ass, but that's another subject. C2A, call to action. Your call to action is, what do you want them to do? What specifically do you want them to do? Do you want them to join a page? Do you want them to like the video? Do you want them to comment on the video? What do you want them to do? And you have to be very specific. Here's what I want you to do. So it's an introduction. It's introducing a topic or asking a question. Number three is filling in the information of what you're going to talk about and or the question, answering the question. And then last is the call to action, kind of closing out. And once I had that blueprint and that format, it was the same thing over and over and over again. This actually became very easy. It helped that I had a couple people who got on right away and said, hey, thank you, that helped. Hey, this is what I took from what you said. Hey, we really like that. And Brandy and I kind of started getting recognized. Oh yeah, it's fun. I watch your show. My dad, of all people, gave us the weirdest compliment. My dad has 2 computers set up next to each other, and he's got Facebook running on one. Only he doesn't have the sound up because obviously you're trying to concentrate on work. And every once in a while you look over, you like a picture and stuff like that. So he was just kind of catching up. And Brandy and I came onto a show. So all of us, including my dad, my stepmom, and Brandy and I, love The Big Bang Theory. So my dad looked over when Brandy and I first started doing this, and he was like, well, you were talking, and she was sitting in the background, and, there's stuff on the wall, and he's like, oh my God, it's Fun with Flags. Now, you might not get that, but for those of you who are Big Bang fans, you totally get this. Fun with Flags. So Brandy and I were going to dress up one day. I was going to part my hair and everything, and we were going to put a flag in the background, and it's, Dr. Jeffrey Gamble and Dr. Brandy Pember, Brandy Daniel Pember, because obviously Farrah Fowler uses all of her names. This is Fun with Flags. So we might cover that one day. I don't know. If it applies to, building a business across the world, that would be good.
If anything, it'll be a fun video just for giggles.
Exactly. Last is take a giant step. So you're going to talk to that person. You're going to take a giant step. You're going to step out. And you're going to start talking to people. You're going to step out and jump on Facebook Live. You're going to step out and present to people you've never presented to. How are we doing on time?
10 minutes.
So, take the daily takeaway. It says 19th century preacher named Peter Cartwright was preparing to deliver a sermon one Sunday when he was warned that President Andrew Jackson was in attendance. And when he kept his remarks, he was asked to keep his remarks inoffensive. During that message, he included statements of, I've been told that Andrew Jackson is in the congregation, and I've been asked to guard my remarks. What I must say to Andrew Jackson is you'll go to hell if he doesn't repent all of his sins. So, I mean, he faced it head on. So sometimes you're asked, in a business, sometimes you're asked by family not to bring things up. Sometimes you're asked by family and friends. Sometimes you're asked by work not to bring things up. Now, if it's a work situation and it actually involves all of your income and everything you do, you kind of have to be, smart about this. But at the same time, don't back down. At the same time, don't back down. Do it the right way. My feeling is if you're going to talk to people at work, you never talk to them at work. You'll have a conversation with them. You can have a conversation with them at lunch when you're not at work, when you're not on the clock. You can have a conversation after work, outside, off the grounds of work. That's kind of always been my rule, our rule of how to do things. That's where you want to contact people. That's where you want to talk to people. So having the courage to go out and build your business, the very first thing that I think courage is to be able to contact people. To be able to contact people that that takes courage. Contacting people takes courage, because you have to make a decision that you're going to let people know what you're doing. In a lot of cases, changing careers for some people or adding something, people start going, well, what are they going to think? What are they going to think? What are they going to say to my friends? What are they going to talk about? They might say that I'm in something that's not legitimate. They might say that I'm in something that I haven't made money. They might say, here's the thing, they're going to say shit anyway. They're going to say stuff anyway. They're going to say it, but here's what I would like to ask you is, when you do make money and this does work for you, are you taking these people with you? I mean, are you going to hang out with them on a regular basis? When you go to the beach, are they coming? When you go to the mountains and you're sightseeing, are you taking them with you? When you're retired, are you inviting them over to your house? Do you still want these people around? I mean, anybody that came up to me that said anything, I just thought in my head, I was like, your ass isn't coming on vacation with me. I'm not inviting you over to dinner. You're not coming around the people that I want to hang out with. Ever. I have no interest in bringing you. And some of my family was like, damn, and I mean, I'm just not bringing them. Some of my friends, that in the beginning were like, they would talk about it, but they would say it kind of behind. I was like, you're not coming. You're not going to be on the vacations. You're not going to be on the trips. You're not going out to the dinners we're going to go see. You're not going to the plays that we're going to go see. You're just not coming. You're staying right where you're at. Why? Because your language and your comments tell me you belong in a 9-to-5 job that's basically what you signed up for. That's what you signed up for. And I'm fine with that. You can stay there. So that's one of the first things is the people that you're going to contact. The second thing is the people you show. Not everybody's coming. You go from talking to people to people you don't know. That takes a whole nother level of courage. And I think it takes a whole nother level of training to get past. Some people think it's easier to talk to people they don't know than it is to people they know, which in some cases is true based on what your history and background is. That's the reality. Sometimes your history and background with certain people is so bad, it is easier to go talk to somebody different. And that's fine. But it takes that. Larry's with us. What's happening, sir? It just takes going out and talking to different people you don't know. Now, some people have to talk to people they don't know because of their work, because of their job. Being in real estate, I had to talk to people I didn't know. Being in the mortgage business, I had to talk to people I don't know. Being in holistic health, I had to talk to people I don't know. Why? We had advertising out there, and we got calls from all kinds of people. Both good and bad. I've had, one swing to the other. I've had the most negative, the most hateful people in the world, contact us back, text us back, talk to us back. And then I've had the best people in the world, people that I've met through, work and now have become friends because they were the right people. So you're going to meet a little bit of everything just like you would out in the world, but you're constantly thrown into that situation. So because I've done it in real estate, because I've done it in the mortgage business, because I've done it in credit repair, because I've been able to do it in the holistic business, doing it inside of direct sales and network marketing, same thing. What you have to do is you have to get to a point where you believe in the vehicle. If there are people succeeding in that vehicle, then you have to ask yourself, can I succeed in that vehicle? I'm looking for somebody. What I liked, Lisa Grossman actually said on this call, by the way, Lisa Grossman is a millionaire inside the industry. She's made $1 million more than once inside the industry. Different things, different companies. One of the things she pointed out is she said, I finally looked at the people who are making six figures, and I said, there are people here who are older, uglier, dumber, less talented, have more excuses, and they're succeeding here than me. So I have to succeed. I have to succeed just to prove to myself that, man, if they could do it, I could do it. I have to go prove it. I don't have a choice. I've got to do it. So that's one of the things to look at when you're going to go out and build anything. That's not just direct sales. That's not just Legal Shield. That's everything across the board. You just have to step out and have that courage. So we're talking about contacting. We talk about actually presenting. And then you have to have the courage to decide to get out of the area that you're in. I think that's another key. Get out of the area you're in, meaning you got to have the courage to go elsewhere, to build into other markets, to meet people and build relationships. Because building relationships with new people can be scary in some cases. I found it usually to be the best stuff because you're able to meet new people and learn new things. So it's all in the mindset you have. What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to get done? Some people are just trying to talk to the same people over and over again and beat the business into them. Meaning eventually if I talk to them enough, eventually if I say this enough, they'll get it. Not true. That's like eventually if I talk to them about weight loss enough, they'll lose weight. It's not true. It's not true. Even doctors are like, look, I told that person if they keep doing what they're doing, they're going to die. And they keep doing it. If a doctor basically has the knowledge and the science behind what they're doing and tells them what you're doing is going to kill you and they do it anyway, what makes you think you can talk people into anything? Some will, some won't. So what next? You just move on to the next person. That's just what it takes. So that's kind of my daily takeaway of courage and what you need to do. How do you get outside your comfort zone? You set your goal, you decide to get something else, you decide you want something new, and then you decide to track the activity it takes to get there, and that's the only way to guarantee you'll figure out how to get there is track what you're doing. I know right away if I'm talking to somebody who's serious about what they're doing or somebody who's playing based on their tracking, based on their notebook.
Yep.
With that, what are we going over tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday.
Tomorrow is Thursday. And we are going over discernment.
Discernment, making decisions. Decide to be here tomorrow. Thank you guys so much.
All right, see ya.